Hope you enjoyed those bangers. It is, of course, ESEA Premier Season 36. We are in one map deep to this series here between Nemiga and Sprout, and it is going to be time for Nemiga's map pick. They just got the upset on their opponent's map, but now we're going to be moving on to Inferno. How do you think that what we saw on Dust will translate over to Inferno in terms of the playstyles of these two teams? I noticed a lot of very, very strong CT holds. A lot of both teams sort of playing by the book, so to speak, you know, very standard default rounds. How do you feel about these playstyles sort of translating over to Inferno, Scroob?
Honestly, I think that this map is pretty difficult for a team like Sprout to deal with. They have these very, very slow and well thought out indeed T sides, but then against a team like Nemiga, I think they like to get aggressive and get in your face, whereas Sprout, maybe on their CT side, they rely a bit more on the utility, a bit more on the kind of safety and not putting the bodies into it. So I think that there certainly will be like that kind of translation of the movement into the CT sides here, again being the crux of things. And perhaps if Sprout can fully actuate, you know, the strong start that they nearly had on their Dust 2 CT side, we could be in for a different story.
Yeah, Tea Time, do you think if they do get that CT economy control, don't fall victim to some of these weird rounds, maybe the force buy, and actually enable themselves to get the full utility, to get the full buy, do you think that this is going to be less of a close game, that they might even be able to get themselves a win here?
I mean, over here for Sprout, I'm still very worried about Slacks and how much he'll show up. I'm encouraged, but from what we saw in Dust 2, but even then, Slacks is notoriously a very static opper, and Lollipop eats those kinds of oppers alive when he's got an AK and he's running at you, or even with a Mac 10. The man can work wonders, and if I'm Slacks, I'm worried. If I'm the rest of Sprout, I'm also worried.
Do you really feel like this is an AWP sort of centric thing for Sprout here, Scroob, or do you think some of the riflers can play a little bit better here on Inferno in some of those anchor roles?
I feel it kind of has to be. Slack certainly disappointing a little bit. I think his stats have been decent recently, but he needs to step things up for sure on that AWP. And then, of course, maybe Faven as well, putting a more consistent, strong performance in, like T-Time mentioned, dropped off in the second half on that first map.
Well, you know what? We've said goodbye to Pilly. It was nice knowing him, but it's time to know what exactly is in store for us. It's Sprout and Nemiga battling it out. MDS and Boxic bringing in a little bit of that utility, but Jo, aggressive as always, heading up Banana very early on to see what he can find. And unfortunately, what he's found is a nade at his feet.
Yeah, big damage. Unfortunately, a bit of spam across from the USPs. Ooh, and I believe a rough kind of flash from the T side there. Regardless, no harm, no foul. No one goes down. The CT still sticking around. So much damage done out of nowhere. Down goes Spiddy. Goodness gracious me. Was that all Jo? I'm not quite sure. But regardless, essentially 2 kills coming in an instant. And now the B bomb site super, super vulnerable.
Well, we say essentially, but we saw on Dust 2 as well. Farman got dinked up and then still managed to pull the round away. Maybe this is his chance as he's come in with another big kill. Fortunately, not a second to be found. Dennis, though, walks through the smoke into his own demise, and this is the first pistol round that Sprout will be losing this series, unless Cressy's been taking some notes from Superman, I guess.
Indeed.
Hey, Clark.
Not even going to go for it, though.
Hey, Clark.
Yeah.
How do I fly over them and shoot them in the head? Not exactly a Superman thing.
Yeah, he's not really biting Mr. Clark at the moment. He's got no idea what Cressy is talking about. I don't know what you mean. I am just a regular office worker. But yeah, look, man, immediately here, Nemiga are showing how goddamn confident they are on this map and how much comfort they have, I think, compared to Dust 2, where they're sending the feelers out there on Dust 2. Box goes down to the bottom. I mean, that's kind of funny and a little unfortunate. But yeah, on Dust 2, I think they were, you know, waiting. They were kind of, where do we go? How do they like to play? Let's adapt to their kind of style and then start to apply our own game to it. Immediately into Inferno, even with USPs swinging on you top of Banana. They're confident. They are indeed relentless. It's the word I'm going to keep on using because I think that's how they like to play. And they're effective. So very, very scary off the back of the pistol.
They press W good indeed. And I'm marginalizing it. They're definitely a very strong team on D side. And this is where I like the adjustment coming out from Sprout and their force buy, though. Cressy being boosted up onto the second balcony, the second flower pots, but MDS maybe he can just catch them out. If he's swinging into the left, that could be big, but instead they swing to mini pit. And this is really interesting because Cressy's got a long range angle, but not a single kill. Cressy. That is unfortunate. Indeed. A lot of damage, though, so maybe Faven can pick up some consolation money. But even then, it's a little bit questionable.
That's so unfortunate, isn't it? Well, I mean, unfortunate's maybe putting it lightly. I don't want to be too harsh, but there was an opportunity to do a bit of something. And, well, a whole lot of nothing is what ends up happening. The hunt is on here as well from the main pack. And like you say, that money-making opportunity does show itself just for one so far. Deagle on the bait, able to drop another. So a bit of damage done, keeping the T-side economy modest. Not dropping the AK, unfortunately, though. Maybe that could have been big, but relatively clean second round coming in from Nemiga. Could have been better, but then it can always be better. I think they will be happy to string two together cleanly. And, well, everything now coming into the back of the minds of Sprout, you know, the new format, the best of three, certainly can make things a bit more pressure filled. You're on the big channel now, you know, not just on the old ESEA. So there's a lot more eyes watching these guys right now, but they, yeah, certainly in all seriousness need to make sure that they don't get inside their own heads and they bounce back.
Script, how can the you did not give me enough time to make this joke when I wanted to, but so I'm going to do it now. But Script, how can the hunt be on in the second round? I mean, you need 7 points for the ultimate.
I don't know what you mean. I
Rain
do not
up
endorse.
Never mind. But we're not talking about that game. It's all about this one over here. Sprout comes through. Farman with 2, actually. Big kills and now to 3v3. Cressy even gets damage through the smoke. And suddenly, things are a little bit dicey.
Oh, boost up as well. The bomb has yet to be planted. MDS out in the open, but Lollipop got him covered, of course. Storming start from this guy, by the way. Looking very, very good once the AK's in hand. He's had multi-frag rounds. Yes, indeed. It is a low sample size. I understand, but still. It's a nice start to be up on 5 kills. Maybe another one for him as well. Cressy's going to walk straight into his crosshair. Surely. Ooh. Slacks does manage to drop one. I mean, you got to get moving for the bomb. Yeah, who's going to cave first? And, well, there it is. Lollipop in their heads. Beautifully played. Speedic as well, able to drop another. That's a lot of damage, though, to be fair, T-Time. That is a lot of damage in that round and certainly going to soften them up. It doesn't make them as invincible for the next 2 or 3 rounds as perhaps they would like.
Yeah, Favon may not have netted them a win over there, but he's given them the opportunity to win economically, which is something that's very valuable for the CT side. The terrorists, if they lose this round and the next one, their money's broken, and then Sprout's got an opportunity to start extending. But now Slacks pulled out the AWP, again buying head armor. Do not like the decision, but against the MP9, I suppose at least that makes sense. Boxic, though, moving in, almost catching a player off. Cressy's peeking while he's flashed by his own flash. What is this madness that is ensuing in the Sprout camp? Dennis, though, he's coming in, set down his pole, and he says, it's my time to rock and roll. Speedy as well comes in with another, but Slacks left alone as Speedic cleans up.
I don't know, dude. He's gonna go for it with his USP, apparently. Oh, here we go. There's the M4. There's the kit. Now what? Yeah, indeed. I think this is the smart decision. You're late. You're utilityless for the most part. No information. Can't walk in because there's not really any time. I think it's fair. You never know. Someone might come your way in the beginning. But for me, again, signs of kind of just going for that. It's not an impossible situation. But I feel like early on with an AWP CT side, you got to save. But I think there's frustration. in the camp of Sprout right now. They're really not feeling it, I guess, in the early stages of Inferno. And the thing is as well, thinking about it, Sprout are a pretty structured team, at least the way that they like to approach the game, right? And I feel Nemiga are kind of, in places, in certain rounds and on certain maps, the antithesis of that from time to time. Certainly have improved the structure, right? That's the storyline we were going with. Hold the point, though, because they're rushing down middle. This could be a bloodbath. Great flash comes in. 1-for-1 trade so far. Need a bit more than this.
Oh
And unfortunately, the
God.
AKs just overwhelm. Yeah, the idea is there, but the execution, again, just not good enough from Sprout.
That is a beautiful recovery coming in. And funnily enough, this is actually an Existence round. I don't know if that's where Sprout got it from, but Existence used to run this round back in LDLC. This is the same LDLC where Alex played as a fragger. And this was before the economy changes. So they used to run UMPs down mid fairly often and leave just $1,000 to $1,500 behind. The idea is that you're probably going to at least get 1 or 2 kills on those SMGs. That makes up for the fact that you bought in a little bit too highly. Unfortunately, Speedy's pretty low on cash. So is Dennis. So things aren't quite as ideal as you'd want them to be, but with a 5-round loss bonus, they'll have a buy in the next round nonetheless, as long as Slack saves his AWP, and there's no one really on the hunt, as you would say.
Yeah, they are indeed just base camp at the moment, playing things safe. So the AWP, once again, will make it through. 5 rounds in a row so far for Nemiga. We need to put a stop in this on that Sprout side of things, though. It is getting to that stage where it can be, the insurmountable task in a sense. You may well pull it back, but one would assume Nemiga pull it back from you. So you need to make sure that the gap is not massive, and it's starting to get to that point where perhaps it is indeed massive. Double up set up into play, though, Tea Time. I am a big fan of seeing this into this round, but, of course, what is the counter to that? Well, go fast. They don't quite know they're up against 2 AWPs, but they're going to go fast regardless. Very confident, very aggressive, perhaps even a little disrespectful. And so far, they've lost a player early on. JO tagged up, and the push overall has been thwarted.
Dennis over here, though, he's watching for them to start peeking out. And MDS, if he makes a mistake and checks the wrong angle, Dennis gets a freebie, but Slacks, that's one he loves to take. Even from alternate attacks, this guy plays short like no one else. It's so difficult to move him away, and that's where the target style can really come into favor you. But Falvin, over here on that second AWP, needs to get the first, and maybe even more as he repeaks out. SpeedX is left alone. 1v5, gets some damage, but not the kill. This is not going to be a possible round, but maybe he can get some damage into their wallets as well.
You maybe speak too soon, sir. Never mind.
No, I don't. I'm good.
Yeah. No damage, though. No damage either. So, little unlucky. I'm always, optimistic about situations like that. Primarily because I'd love to get a big 1v5 to cast. That would be cool.
Yeah.
They rarely happen.
I feel like wishful thinking and optimism are different things, Griff. We need to make sure about that.
I suppose. Yeah, this is fair. This is fair. There is a fine line, isn't there, between the kind of courage and foolishness, I suppose. Shot's not quite landing at the top of Banana. They do need to be careful here not to throw this opportunity down the drain. There you go. The bottom of Banana, Slacks is able to drop Speedic. So a nice little catch. The double upsell once again, paying dividends by the looks of things.
And Falvin's in a great spot as well. He can play super aggressively because of the 3 players present, but the flashbang is ready and well placed. Boxig, who's been blocked off by the Molotov, is, you know what? This is actually a very big nade that Cressy's got primed and cooked, but is he going to throw it in time? Because they've already started moving fast. Molotov goes back towards New Box, and Falvin needs to be taken down, but as he peeks out, these players have been pushed back. Cressy's nade doesn't do as much as maybe it could have, and Speedy's still the hidden Viper up top in the flower pots, waiting for the push to come through. Nemiga now caught out. Cressy gets another, and Lollipop left alone. Another opportunity for wishful thinking, but maybe you can be optimistic, Scrib.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm slightly more realistic. Without the bomb, That's a pretty big, factor in this. Feel it's going to be rough. He can't really dictate where the action goes down. He has to move back towards the drop, of course, but no attempt at all. He's going to sit himself in the kitchen or in and around this apartment, regardless, and just let the clock wind down. Fair enough. Look, 2 very, very nice rounds from Sprout. I think Nemiga certainly giving them the room to play with, with just super, super fast, throwing the kitchen sink at it, as a good friend of ours in the form of Wolfie would say. Well, it's not working. So, yes, indeed, a pause required. I do like this if it is from Nemiga. I'm a big fan of this kind of timing, playing things safe, and getting that foot back in the door as soon as possible. Respecting Sprout. Yes, it's your map pick. Yes, you're 1 up, right? Yes, you're 3 rounds up, but, you need to make sure you nip this in the bud, because the double up setup particularly is really, really working out for the Germans.
And this is where, from Nemiga, it's not even just about that you need to stop your relentless aggression. What you need right now is a nice little set play that just pushes them back from brackets. You get bracket control, and Sprout's double up setup becomes incredibly ineffective unless they have the utility to go for a full retake mid, which most of the time double up setups don't. They have to use that utility a little bit early. You can already see double nade going down mid, not doing too much, but the T's in the meanwhile are instead teasing that banana and trying to get some control over here. But double Molotov from CTs means that they've been split up, and Faven has the opportunity to go for a few kills, but a big nade to force them back. But Faven hasn't been checked, and an opportunity arises, but Bogsig instead clasps the skull of Faven in his hand.
Oh, and through the smoke, Speedic is able to drop Spiddy quickly thereafter. Nicely timed Molotov certainly is going to slow them down to buy time for the rotation. Slacks going through. Oh, going around. That is so well played. He knows that smoke. He knows how to counter it. And he's able to dip back in as well. Oh, my goodness. Cannot reiterate enough. That is actually massive. He's keeping pressure over towards Coffins. The smoke now dissipating, creates a lot more room. Meanwhile, for T, damage is coming in. They're attempting to plant the bomb, but all the T's are just on top of each other right now. It's an absolute mess, and they can't really leave this very small quadrant that they've gained control of. Quick trade comes through. It's on opposite sides. They've freed up Coffins. In theory, it's all going to be onto Boxing. Got to find 4 for the round. He and Dennis going toe to toe in and around this corner. The Patience, who is the player to come out on top, and it's Dennis. Box wanted to go for it, and Dennis, well, he knows, once again, as you said, with age comes patience, and I suppose with patience comes victory.
Well, this time, fortunately. Last time was a bit more difficult, but like you said, Slacks coming in, pushing through that smoke. That's a game changer. That's what you want from your AWP. And that was my criticism, that you don't see enough of that from Slacks. But now we're seeing a bit of this. He peeks out from the smoke. Earlier on, he was able to peek down mid-round, get a shot straight down to the bottom of Banana, down to the T side itself. Now, question comes in. How exactly are Nemiga going to adjust? We've seen them get some kills on the B side, but what I find strange is Nemiga aren't actually mid-rounding very much. It seems like whatever call they're making in the freeze time, that call is what they're sticking with. It's their prescription, and unfortunately, they're not willing to go to the doctor again. Normally, what you see is teams get those 2 kills that early on, they back off. They reset the round. They let the CTs spread themselves thin, make the mistakes, push out, peek out. Opportunity given away, and there you have it.
It's maybe where we see some of the issues that have plagued this Nemiga side in the past continue to haunt them. But we'll see. Jo, oh, that's a bit of an awkward one. I think the smoke went down, didn't quite cover it though, of course. Those Molotovs always a little pesky. Lollipop, meanwhile, the quick, aggressive play style, it's still being attempted. It works out for 1. Oh, got to be careful not to lose this AWP, but MDS like re-peeking into that, I mean, sure, Dennis, there is a chance he goes down on that M4, repositions and just claps Speedic, though. Sprout are playing Nemiga at their own game in places and seem to be finding great success with it. Do like this, though. As you said, find the frag. It's not 2 this round. Go for a bit of a reset. Move back towards the B-bomb site this time around. Quick little Molotov to follow up on towards Nubox. Fathom pushed out, completely caught off guard. This is much, much better. Nemiga, though, still a 3-on-3 that they've got to win. And Spitty giving them that might just turn the tide.
And Box has been huge these past few rounds, but now he's brought down Jo. Very low, but there's no nade, there's no Molotov. All they have is a smoke, and it's been deployed. MDS, time to turn around, buddy, because they're both coming from Banana, and Jo's seen them. MDS, it's his time to shine. Jo's revealed himself, so now he knows that he just has to proceed forward. Question is, how exactly is Dennis going to play this? Patience isn't going to help you this time, and unfortunately, although he'll find a kill, potentially, it's actually not even that. And with 2 players kept alive, Nemiga keep themselves up to 6, and they will not let Sprout break their money.
God damn, absolute wrist breaker. This, of course, is the throwback. I think it is. I think it is Cressy flashing himself to answer all the questions that you particularly, Tea Time, had about that one. Upsy daisy, I suppose.
Indeed. Now, though, question is, what Sprout going to do? Double up is going to be their game plan. They stick to it. Always does come with the risk of demolishing your economy should you lose 2 in a row, but maybe we can see something different. One thing we've actually not seen addressed very much at all so far, Script, is any sort of pressure into apartments from really either team.
I don't know. I'm not a massive fan. I think it's okay. I'm gonna hold the point because this is another fast round, of course, from Nemiga, and well, the double AWPs both playing towards the top end of Banana, both finding frags on falls, but it is Sprout to come out on top of the initial battle. And I think indeed a slowdown coming in. Well, you wanted to see a bit of your apartments control. Here is Lollipop in towards apartments. I feel
honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel that, right? But I think the point is, it's like CTs very rarely go to contest. It's a tough kind of angle. And I think it's an area of the map that so long as you, and you know, that there could be, until you see all 5 players, there could be someone in apartments. You're not going to get caught with the angle that you're playing or the setup that you're putting together as a 3-man unit, one would assume, usually. I think you can leave the apartments as a CT player in the same way that you can leave brackets, right? You just need to be careful and aware of the options that therefore leads open for the T side.
It's a 3v2 on the A side, though, for terrorists, and the CTs being this far away, if they can get both kills without losing a player, that's almost definitely a safe call from Sprout. Sprout's prepared for a safe call no matter where they go, unless someone gets a multi-kill. But there's 25 seconds left. 20 seconds, and the T's have to make a move. These are difficult angles to deal with. It's a perfect crossfire. You just need one more player if you could have it, but they unfortunately can't. Dennis starts off, but not strong. MDS goes down to Cressy, but it's a 2 versus 2, and Sprout, they actually have some utility as well, so they can try and make this work. Smoke being lined up for, I believe that's a pit smoke, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's a pit smoke going out, blocks them out completely, nicely placed. And with that, Lollipop's been forced away from the crossfire, so technically 2 isolated 2v1s.
He's moved fast, though.
Oh my God.
The Ferrari peak onto Mr. Spiddy. That might just seal the deal. Has he spotted Faven there? I don't think so, looking at kind of the movement, the body language of him. But regardless, with no kit, with no partner, and with no time, the round will go against Faven here. Get in the corner as well, not even going to go down. So a very, very clean 2v2 for Nemiga. That's a hell of a shot from Lollipop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this... Okay, I was going to say, we're going to see it again. But no, this is actually something I quite like, playing 2 AWPs towards the top of Banana. Unfortunately, in the end, didn't quite work. Here, once again.
Dude, that shot,
without
man,
the X-ray as well, it is filthy.
Especially when you consider it's like, that should have been 2 consecutive 2v1s, and Lollipop says, no, I am in this. It's a 1v2, not a 2v1. Peeks out immediately. Like, he's so aggressive, but he just got the chops to make it work. But now, Molotov isolates out some of the CTs. Free banana control, potentially a free bomb site. I say free, but apparently it costs Jo, who, so far, in all fairness, has been fairly free. No, I'm just kidding. He was great on Dust. He was really good on Dust. But Slacks is, this angle, it's just paying dividends for Slacks.
Absolute monster. Landing a tag onto another as well. And the Deagles are here in tow. They've not really taken control of the B-bomb site. Kind of a... I mean, a messy take. I say kind of. It's pretty messy.
Oh,
Ooh,
what?
what has happened there? Oh, no. The nade goes in to finish off Slacks. Box, meanwhile, Glock in hand, being spotted out against the Deeg, and he's not going to win that fight. What the hell has gone down on the B-bomb site?
Someone cue
Oh,
the
my
Looney
Lord.
Tunes music, because that's all, folks. I mean, what's going on with Nemiga's T side over here in that round? We don't know. All we know is that they couldn't take down the 2 players on Banana, lost a player over there, and then Slacks comes out, shoots him in the head.
Well, look, there's not much you can do about that initial Slacks frag. Right?
I agree. The Banana
it's the
one is
idea
unforgivable, though.
Yeah, you know, it's like the idea of buying the Deagles and the Scouts is that it kind of evens the odds in a sense that you can in and out, you know, get a shot in, maybe a kill, and then back off, right? If it happens to one player, fair. But it's like I mentioned on the post game of the first map, there's a lot of teams at this level that can panic when that happens, right? And I think you just kind of have to either go, okay, we're going back A, or we're going to continue pushing B. And I think there were 2 minds on the Nemiga side as to what they were going to do, right? And then they just get caught in between. Their indecision is their downfall.
They pull out a bomb in front of a person.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big mess. So we'll see whether they can recover it. The buy here, not a bad idea. Hero AK, we'll see. Speedic's been playing pretty well, to be fair, on that AK. Surprising to see. Usually comfortable on the AWP. Great little flash out. So far, no frags for the CT side as yet. Spoke too soon, no, of course. Dennis going to chime in for the first.
Oh. Very good little anti-eco cleanup coming through. Great repeats coming in again and again. Admittedly, not too much utility on the side of the terrorist, but now Lollipop's got the AK, and he no longer has the AK. Will probably be recovered by the CT. No, they're not quite able to make it over. However, at the end of it all, you've still got to give it to them. Very clean anti-eco, something which both teams have struggled with at times. And now Nemiga, you start to wonder, with that 1 AK bought up, purchased up, their money's really flimsy right now. I could see another half by coming in over, honestly.
It's possible. It is indeed. Not a terrible idea. Much more of a breakup here, you know. I think Nemiga realize they're in a position to take this series. Where Dust 2 is slightly, you know, if we win it, we win it. Cool. But I think in their minds, even they were expecting to go to all 3 maps. Whereas now they do understand the position that they're in. Sprout as well, paying respect to Cross, right? Certainly going to knock you down a few pegs when you lose your own map pick. When you look at it and it's like, statistically, this is probably the best map we could have picked, and they've lost it. So a lot to play for here, but once again, nothing's really changed massively. Huge aggression coming in. Sprout this time around, though, opting not to contest Banana and just giving the control away initially. This could be nasty, though. Perfectly timed flash coming in. Well, the unblind player is not able to cover. Speedic, of course, nothing he can do. Spiddy on the org, up close and personal, just mowing them down. MDS gets 1, but really to no avail. My goodness, Sprout have suddenly turned the dial up to 11.
That is one of the most beautiful spray transfers I've ever seen with an AUG, no less. That straight flick to Speedak's head while still spraying is gorgeous. There's so few players who actually mastered the spray on the AUG, and it's just great to see that coming out from Speedy over there. Now, though, question comes in, how did Nemiga work this Deagle round out? Because their money is going to be incredibly weak. This is potentially Sprout going for 8 and a lead in the first half. So, what's a change coming in? Apparently, just watching, waiting, and having some patience. I don't mind this.
The $1 million question, sir, that I feel, of course, requires a $1 million answer. As sometimes is not the case. You know, you get the big question, and unfortunately you fall flat at the final hurdle, at the very least within the context of this first half. Slacks, man. These angles from coffins on the snipers have been deadly, for sure. Yeah, this is a masterclass once again in the anti-eco, not giving anything across to the Deagles, he says. But of course, you know, anything is capable with these Nemiga players, apparently.
I'd love to see just a late round double made over to Coffin just in case Slacks was there, because I feel like every time he's got some nutty shots from Coffin. Every time. Pushing through smokes, getting aggressive. This time it's a wall bang. Man's got an angle and he knows how to work it. Lesson 1 of Instagram.
Yeah. Tea time the influencer.
300 followers, baby. The Nemiga over here, they've got 300 problems, and unfortunately, they've got to find a way to solve all of them. Boss few rounds have been kind to Sprout. Will this be any different? Slacks run boosts across. Has a nice angle, but can't exploit it.
Ooh, big nade onto Lollipop. Going for the fast apps play again. He's making a hell of a lot of noise. Surely they've got to be ready for him here. But that flash goes in, blinds all 3 mid players. Oh my goodness. Absolutely massive. Meanwhile, over at B, ooh, jump angle comes in, but Fabian with the trigger discipline does not give his position away, does not give an opportunity across to the T side. However, in an instant, they've abandoned the B idea and now looking to re-aggress towards A, the old double pump, couple smokes going in, one towards long, one towards Moto, indeed, making short the final port of call here. They're opting to go around the corner in just a second. Yeah, Slacks, there it is. The trigger discipline, unfortunately, not strong enough from him, but the player in the apartment's cut off. Slacks as well, given time to reposition and re-aggress, go for more frags. Oh, finding another into pit. He does eventually burn, but all the same, he has made this round doable. Cressy is still alive. Going to give his position away, though, unfortunately. That is very well played on the fake. And now a man advantage for Nemiga.
Igniting themselves inside library is not ideal, but at least the Molotov gets them boxed, and it's back to a 2v2. Both CT players have a kit, but Falvin's had his scalp revealed. Speedek peeking out, crouching, ducking away, hiding. It's a dance that they're waiting for, but Lollipop is the one to come in from the side and steal his partner. At least that's a plan, but Speedy is here to protect, and Speedek can't do the same. It's going to be the 8th round on the board for Sprout to come through. Great take despite some good attempts. And it all just comes down to Nemiga feeling the need to rush down to mini pit rather than maybe taking the side. We'll be back after a short break, though, because this is still just heating up.
Cast away.
And we're back. It's been a flimsy first half from Nemiga despite a great start, and Sprout on the rise with the momentum behind them as well as a small lead. Scrib on the microphone with me. And Scrib, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit worried. Nemiga at this point, they really need to start stepping up their game back to where they started.
Yes, indeed. Sprout in those final few rounds were looking fearsome, that is for sure. We'll see what their T-side has got in store. A fight at middle from the confident Cressy. He does get traded back, but all the same, Glock at that range? I mean, surely not. Meanwhile, Jo also going to go down. Honestly, of the two maps, I did not expect Inferno to be the scrappier, but the recent rounds certainly have been all that. So it's curious to see. At the moment, Sprout coming out on top of it, and relatively well. Still got their utility to play with also. Box on the aggressive angle up top here. Finds one, drops back. Gonna re-aggress. What am I seeing? This is crazy talk. Fabian up close, not able to drop him. And Box, well, this time he will indeed finally drop back. But only a little. I don't know what's
getting
going
ready. He's getting ready. He's going to go for a peek again, maybe? No, okay. With the Molotov coming in right opposite him, he knows that one of the angles that he is relying... Okay, never mind. I lied to you. I lied to your face, Scrib. And Boxing, well, now that he's seen and gotten some more information, he will be backing off and waiting for potentially a rotate to come in. MDS not pulling that trigger too quickly, though. He's reliant on Lollipop and Box finding a couple of kills themselves, which is entirely possible. Interesting that Speedy wants to smoke off coffins instead of CT, though. What a shot from Box, straight from Slacks' hometown. And he's looking for more. Box looking to populate this with blood on the floors. And as they move in, they don't even know Lollipop's in the back lines. Are they going to go for the bomb plan? Lollipop looking to Speedy, gets the shot, drops the bomb. 8 seconds on the clock, just needs to play the time, but instead wants to play the man. Finds him and takes him down.
Hot damn. Hell of a pistol round from the two of them. That is well done. Yeah. And Sprout, maybe not bouncing off of these early frags once again. Pick a bomb site. Let's go. I think Glock training your way in is certainly the play. It's kind of hard, though, to be fair. A bit weird to say, but they find kills at long range, which means that, like, you know, the re-aggressors, as we saw, are still able to abuse the strength of the USP at long range. So it feels a little strange. You might lose a few in the process if indeed you do try to train into a bomb site, but the lower approach also not working out for them. So a messy one for sure from Sprout. Well, from both teams. Like I mentioned at the beginning of that round, incredibly scrappy, to be honest, and it seems that that is somewhat set to continue because Sprout not fully investing into this one, to me, suggests possibly trying to get some early AKs out.
Early AKs are always nice, especially when you've got 4 SMGs in front of you. 4 SMGs, Script. That's not an investment you expect. I mean, not even to mention the idea that there isn't a single kid amongst them. So, you know, if Sprout gets a couple of kills and a bomb plot, it's a doable round. The Eagles are notoriously strong at holding angles. Unfortunately, they've only got 2 of them. So it all comes down to those early kills, and Favin's got 1. Always good with the Deagle. Speedek, not quite so much with the MP9 on the sideline. MDS, meanwhile, tries to aggress in, but Dennis with a picked up M4 is making things dicey. And Scriv, suddenly, it's the worst possible situation. It's a 2v5. You've got no kit, you've got no money, you've got no space, you've got no map control, you've got nothing.
Premier's back, that's all I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, Speedic, I mean, it's hopeful. He might get another frag here, to be fair. I mean, relatively low armor, but yeah, just not enough HP. The flying MP9. What has happened there, man? Oh, it's verging on a little bit of unacceptable, to be honest. I can give you, like, you know, the Deagle versus the SMG. It can indeed be deadly, but there's a couple of kills in there that really should not have happened. And like you mentioned, a small change, another rifle in play really could have bailed them out there, to be honest with you, unarmored opponents. And it's like the logic is you buy 4 SMGs, surely you're expecting them to not have armor. Maybe that's a read that you have against a team like this, the way that they like to approach it, because you're very quickly going to mow them down and make some cash. So why are you not prepared for that situation? It's definitely a strange one. Nice Deagle shot coming in, though. I think, is that a dink through a wall? Bit of a shame it doesn't pull off. But Spitty left on 30 HP. Maybe it's time for Nemiga to give Sprout a taste of their own medicine.
I mean, is this Hollywood? Because I smell a sequel brewing. Jo sees them coming over, gets a quick one, even some tags in alongside. But unfortunately, no additional teammates means that he's relying on Lady Luck, and she has not blessed him with too much favor. The smoke will be enough of a deterrent to prevent him from getting kills. But as I say that, boxing in the back lines where the 5-7 is able to reclaim ground and back to a 5v3. No kit makes it difficult, but not impossible. Numbers always in the advantage, but Slax's Molotov will be everything.
Oh, man, what is going on? Still definitely doable here, though, for sure. There we go. Dennis, finally some normality. Yeah, playing off each other as well. I mean, 2 quick pistol kills from MDS and Lollipop make it doable for just a second. Goodness gracious. Only the 1 player remaining for Sprout, but once again, I don't know. I can't believe my eyes. These rounds are crazy. I've said it already, but of the 2 maps, like, why is it Inferno that is this scrappy and Dust 2 is so slow and well thought out? And, you know, are we going to go mid to B or long this round? Don't know. Maybe short, guys? You know, there's a lot of deliberation, whereas Inferno, not so much, just much more instinctive.
Dust 2 felt like you're watching the Queen's Gambit. Inferno feels like immediately after the Queen's Gambit, you go to chess.com and you're like, never mind.
Yeah.
We all did that, guys. Let's be honest. But
yeah, I'm still doing it. I bought a chess set.
Well, I already have chess sets, but like
I've not opened it yet.
Okay, fair enough. My man right there. That's what I'm talking about. I played some chess and it didn't work out for me, just like for Favin over there, because jumping P250s kill chess sets.
Right. Notoriously.
Indeed.
You had an AK, bro. Just go with the pack. I guess, yes, indeed. You know, you're probably not going to win this round losing control of the A bomb site, but you're giving Slacks all the money in the world. Lovely spray down. That's 4 kills and an upgrade to an AK. Thank you very much. Really solidifying his personal economy.
I'd love to see it. Question is, will he be picking up an AWP on the T side? That's always a big question. I mean, this time as well on Inferno, we actually often see MDS picking up the op on T side instead of Speedek. It's actually a staple for Nemiga.
Right.
This time, Sprout is going to be going for the op on Slacks, and he's been having a good game so far, so I don't blame them for it. But I want to see how exactly it's put to use. The op can be incredibly strong in post plants as well, but you need to get to the side first to make that work.
Taking a leaf out of the Nemiga book here, very quickly up middle. Love this angle from MDS. Only on the 6 frags at the moment. Certainly needs to pull some weight here on the CT side. Misses it by just a hair. Big nade, perhaps? Yeah, indeed, but he takes a lot of damage himself. Another back and forth beginning. Hard down. Hard to know who indeed has the control at this current time.
But look at Nemiga's positioning. They're so far back, but only MDS actually leaning forward with the AWP. But even this off, the information is giving away. It might be a little bit misleading. Now he knows there's still players and presence in mid. Maybe he can get something done.
MDS.
Oh!
The corner angle. Beautifully done. Massive frag. Could make all the difference. Flashed out of position here as well. Lollipop, meanwhile, on the other side of the smoke. Cressy's got to be careful. Yeah, because Cressy was waiting for him, but doesn't stick around too long. The standstill has exploded into action. Are they going B? Are they wrapping towards A? It's hard to tell. I think the steps in the apartment's heard for sure. Lollipop, meanwhile, in on the site. Needs to be careful. Going to get mowed down. And there you are. The apartment's player also clapped out. Walking in through short with 10 seconds left is super effective from Sprout.
Favin has just been such a stud on these entries onto the A-bomb site. You've got to give him so many props. Even numerically, his stats are just ridiculously impressive. I think he's sitting on, what, 24 and 11 right now? Something around that. We'll find out at the end of this round as well. But he's been overperforming. Even now, Nemiga had a decent crossfire. A player in apartments, a player on this side. That's not terrible. That's something you can work with, especially if the rest of your players are nearby enough that some support can come in. But they don't get a single kill.
It's kind of a strange one. The CT side seems to be slipping. We'll see. It's dangerous territory here as well with the money and everything. What do they opt to go for? I guess with the 3 players saved, you kind of do logically have to support it. Yeah, gonna go all in. Like I say, super important round here for the CT sides. Sprout pulling it out on this T side, looking very, very different from what I would expect. You know, slow, methodical kind of play style. But no, they're playing Nemiga at their own game and, well, giving them a good run for their money. There it is. Faven was waiting for it. Perfectly read, but also perfectly executed. Big nade over the top as well. And that's not the way you want to start it. 15 seconds in, you lose a player with no contest. No return damage really onto the T side.
And the immediate response is to turtle up onto the B-bomb side because of the T side Molotov on car as well, preventing them from reaggressing in the mid round. And Faven's been left behind to lurk and do whatever he really wants to. His team said, okay, you have basically done everything that we needed you to already just from that one kill. And look at Nemiga's angles. Look at how far apart they're forced to play because of the MP9 of MDS. He just can't set up a decent crossfire, and maybe this is the opportunity. Maybe this is where Dennis isn't quite patient enough, but Dennis keeps winning these out.
That's incredible. That is actually incredible that he gets away with that. Very well executed, of course, but still crazy stuff, and it might just turn the tides here. Locked into the A-bomb site. They have to fight their way out. Speeduk on the AWP, misses his first opportunity. Lollipop trying to get into assist. He does, but unfortunately they will be traded nice and fast. Jo with 2. But can't get it done. That was close for sure. If he'd have gotten away for just a second, pulled off a reload, and maybe come in from another angle. But no, not going to be the case. Little shot in towards Banana. Goddamn. Clean. And now, like I said, an important round for Nemiga to be winning. Well, they don't. Their money in the bin. They will have to concede another. So a hefty run back required here to take the series 2-0.
Small note as well. So it was a very nice set of smokes delivered on the A-bomb side in the previous round. They ended up not really needing it because of the kill that Dennis finds onto MDS. But even so, just the smokes and where they're landing, they block off mini pit. They block off the cold Zara box, where the most commonly held crossfire is with cold Zara box and the left corner, the deep corner. It's a very interesting set of smokes to be thrown, and I really like how they might have been able to use it. Of course, need is not really there for that. But now the question is, can these Deagles get something done? And indeed they can, but how much?
So far, only 2. Maybe a little bit more on the cards. Box still alive, but they know that he's around. Timing going to be everything. He's so very low. Instant headshots required. He looks the wrong way at the wrong time. We'll be on to Jo coming from the B-bomb site. So I think that would have been our, crazy moment to perhaps indeed pull the round off. But now, going for exits. Padding the stats. Maybe taking an AK. Nothing too substantial. Should be that clean 14th as expected for Sprout. So all to play for. This is turned upside down, hasn't it, in the second half? Really not looking good at all. Where, they win the pistol. They come in evening things up immediately. And since then, they've not won a round since. Nemiga really, really, really dropping the ball in this second half.
Massively. Even in the first half, you can see where Sprout just took control. Let's keep in mind, the game started with Nemiga being up 5-0, and their second half, they won the pistol round. Both very significant leads, which weren't capitalized on, especially when you consider that when they're up 5-0, it's on the T side. So Sprout CT side economy, Sprout CT side chances should have been crippled, but there's so many opportunities for the Germans to be able to get away with murder because Faven bails them out of a difficult spot. Faven gets a great entry here. Slacks is coming through with some big plays on CT side. Individually, they're stepping up, and structurally, I think there was never any doubt about Sprout maybe having a little bit more meat on their bones. But now trade comes in towards second mid, and it's a 4v4. One of the best situations the CTs have found themselves in early in a while.
Very true. And of course, goes without saying, they need to convert this. I always found that very curious. Goes without saying, yet here I am saying it. So,
How dare you?
Yeah, it's strange how the language works from time to time. But regardless, a more aggressive setup, I would say, on the A-bomb site here from the CT side. Apartments left vulnerable, and their backside from balcony also left vulnerable. The flash comes in, and there is indeed a bit of a turnaround, a bit of an awareness from the CT side. Speedup finding one, dropping back. Are they ready for MDS? Well, that Molotov certainly going to put a spanner in the works. Speedup on the AWP, though, is delivering. They will gain control of the A-bomb site. They will get themselves a post plant, but whether they can win it is another question.
Double up on the retake, but at least Slacks has been forced away from pit. Slacks smoked off as well. Boffin finds the kill though every time, but finally the raid boss is shut down and Slacks will step up to take his place instead. Now the 1 versus 1, up on up, but one has the bomb and the other has the angle. However, maybe it's actually both. Slacks looking at the right place. How does he know that? How does he know that?
I think he hit the wood on the way up. On the jump, perhaps.
Maybe the sound cue.
Maybe didn't crouch jump cleanly enough. That can happen from time to time. Or perhaps a scope in there at some point from Speedup. Difficult to tell, but goodness gracious me, I mean, Slacks has played it beautifully.
Yeah.
And embarrassed them in the end. The 1-on-2, egg on their face, gets away with it, and now, of course, 7 in a row required from Nemiga to take us to overtime. I mean, it's a tough ask for any caliber of team, particularly on a bye like this, and losing 94 health points from the get-go, I mean, is certainly not the way that you want to kick things off. So looking very, very good indeed for Sprout. Inevitably, it might take them a few rounds. Sometimes it does for teams in situations like this get a bit complacent, but it does feel inevitable at this point, for sure.
It's do or die for Nemiga. Let's not forget, we painted it as if Nuke might be their territory to take it away, but that is also Sprout's best map. So for them, having won Dust 2, this was what they thought would have netted them that 2-0. And now everything hangs in the balance. This map at least needs to be competitive. At least you need to take the hot hand away from Favin and Slacks. That's what they've got on their mind, but with 40 seconds left and some utility on the T side being thrown out, that's a full execute coming out once again on the A side. MDS has to show up and put up with the Famas, gets one, doesn't have a chance to back off, and instead will be cut off very soon. Molotov doesn't quite spread over, at least it works out in his favor, but now he peeks forward, he sees Dennis, takes him down as well. 3 players on the side from the terrorists, but Lollipop is taking them down one by one before being traded away. Back to a 3v2. Bomb can't be planted because of MDS, but there's 8 seconds, and with the bomb being dropped, they've found a lifeline.
That's a hell of an individual round from MDS, to be honest. I think gets away literally and figuratively with murder in this position. Gets kind of lucky, I suppose. They didn't have any utility left to deal with him and flush him out. They just tried to ignore him. If we don't look at him, he's not there.
The Molotov also was a little bit off from Sprout. That Molly, if I'm not wrong, is supposed to land on the edge of Grave, and that spreads over into the corner.
Yeah, bleeds down. Yeah, bit rough. But as we said, right, these types of rounds where you've got 7 in a row to play with, you do get a bit complacent. And certainly that complacency gives room to MDS to have a hell of a round. But how valuable is it? A couple more, maybe this one and the round after they've got a breakthrough in terms of buys. It does depend, I suppose, on what Sprout opt to do in the next one. But still work to do before they have a little bit of breathing room gained here on the Nemiga end.
This is an incredibly defensive setup from Nemiga, though. They're really just not willing to find information because of their lack of utility and their lack of an AWP. So Lollipop he's the chosen one. I mean, he's supposed to restore balance to the force, I suppose, because he's just hanging in the middle. But now start to cheat his way back over towards the A-bomb side. Falvin's lurking on B. Lollipop waiting for the peaks to come in and waiting for the terrorists to start leaking inwards. Falvin, though, with this much information and this much presence on the B-bomb side, is still ready to make a call of his own. But the question is, who will Dennis find? He sees MDS, can't take him down, but does good damage.
Oh, MDS playing with fire, trying to reposition there. One nade as well could finish him off. Of course, there is no nade available. Goes for a swing and gets taken down instead. Speedic has to hold the line, and he can't. Bomb will go down. 4-on-2. The B rotators coming into a death trap. And it's all onto box. 1v4. Not in my lifetime, I would imagine. Yeah, Slack's going to take him down. And there you have it. A clean second half from Sprout. I am honestly gobsmacked. So well played. And now we have to go to a third map. Absolutely incredible stuff. But a quick break beforehand. We'll see you in a few.